Hello friends, today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is privatization of Indian Railways. This is in news for quite some time, and so we should have a complete or comprehensive understanding of this topic. So let us begin by let's begin with a brief introduction about Indian Railway. So Indian Railway, if you go to the website of Indian Railway, you will see it calls it the lifeline of the nation. And there can be no doubt about it. It is indeed the lifeline of the nation, and you know the reason why. About 23 million passengers commute through Indian Railway every day. This is 2.3 crore in Indian numerical value. This is 2.3 crore population that travels through train every day. This is the population of Delhi. 2 crore population is of Delhi. World Bank in its report in 2018 says that India has more than 68,000 kilometer routes, which makes it fourth largest rail network in the world after US, Russia and China. Okay, so this was the brief introduction which we have about Indian Railway, and of course there are other parts of Indian Railway which we have not discussed, and this is about employment that it generates. This is, I think, biggest public sector undertaking. This is the biggest employer in our country in terms of government jobs particularly, and many subsidiary jobs it generates. So what is the government decision that has been making headlines for quite some time? Basically, you know, Railway Ministry has invited request for qualification proposal from private participation in operating passenger trains along 109 pairs of routes through addition of 151 modern trains. So basically, this is a qualification-based selection process. This is a qualification-based selection process in which Indian Railway will choose private operators on the basis of their qualification, on the basis of their experience, and then they will be, called upon to operate on this 151 modern 109 pairs of routes. Okay, this would be the first time in the history of Indian Railway that the passengers train will be run by a non-railway operator. But you will say, "Is a Tejas train to chal raha hai?" Tejas train is not completely run by a non-railway operator because it is operated by IRCTC. IRCTC is a subsidiary of Indian Railway in which more than 85% stake is of government. So this was a case of corporatization of railway, not privatization, I say. Okay. Tejas train runs on two routes basically, one on Delhi Lucknow route and then on Mumbai Ahmedabad route. So this was the case of corporatization of the railway, in which IRCTC is the operator and not the Indian Railway. But this will be the first time that a non-railway operator will be operating the passenger trains in India. Okay. Moving to the more details about the government decision. This government decision says that what private players is supposed to do. Private players is supposed to finance, procure, and operate the trains. Okay. Maintenance will be also the responsibility of the private players. Marketing is the responsibility of private player, and they will be allowed to fix the fare for 35 years after the beginning of their operations. Okay. Now, this will be in the hand of private operators. This will be in the hand of private operators, and the rest will be of Indian Railway. This includes rail, means patri, power, a station, and other related infrastructure like signals. Okay, will be of Indian Railway. Okay, if we talk about personnel, loco pilot, security guards, station masters, and other related personnel, for example, traffic personnel, signal personnel, all will be of Indian Railway employees. Okay. Private player will pay railway fixed haulage charges. This haulage charge will be charged because they will utilize this part of Indian Railway, these things of Indian Railway infrastructure and personnel. And in addition to this haulage charge, they will be required to pay energy charges as per actual consumption. And the most important part, the gross, they will have to share. They will have to, give some sort of share in gross revenue they earn through their operations. And this share will be determined through a transparent bidding process in which the highest you give to the Indian Railway, the more likely you will have the chance to operate these private trains. Okay, moving on to the more news on this. The government decision says that the 70% of the private trains will be manufactured in India. Remember, procurement of the trains, the compartments will be the responsibility of private player. Okay, now this private player which is going to procure the compartments of the train will have these private trains will be manufactured in India, and 70% of this it will be manufactured in India, and it will be designed for a maximum speed of 160 km per hour. So this is supposed to reduce the commutation time by 30%, and if it will run on 130 km per hour, it is supposed to reduce the commutation time by 10 to 15%. Okay. This first set of 12 private trains is supposed to be run by 2023 after a couple of years, and all 151 trains is supposed to run by 2027 itself. Okay. Now we will see what are the concerns regarding this government decision. First, we will see what are the intended objective that governments want to achieve after giving some trains to the private hand. First, government wants to bring in modern technology. Second, new generation trains. Third, it wants to bring in competition in passenger train operations because private operators will not be just one, but maybe like 20 or 15 private operators will be there. Government basically wants to reduce the gap that is in between demand and supply. We will understand this through the statistics that the government has published recently. Government also wants to attract private investment in this sector. Government wants to reduce the maintenance cost because low technology trains often require high maintenance cost, but high technology trains require low maintenance charges. So that is what government wants to do. Transit time, of course, if the speed of train will be increased, transit time will be reduced. Job creation is another objective which governments want to achieve. So now we will discuss the concerns regarding the government decision. The first concern is about the class division, that some experts say that the entry of private players in this sector may create greater class division, which is already there between AC and non-AC, and yet again between non-AC and unreserved category passengers. So this class division will be further strengthened with entry of private trains, because private trains is supposed to have higher fares, and it may not be affordable to this category and this category, of course. So there will be clear class divide. Those who are well off, those who are rich will be moving with these private trains, and those who cannot afford will be simply moving through either this or this. This is because 95% belongs to this category of passengers in India who travel through non-AC, who travel through non-AC and unreserved category, mail or express trains. This is 95% of passengers in India. Only 5% moves through AC. So private trains will more likely be attracting this 5% because of their higher charges. So this is a clear case of class division which might get strengthened after introduction of private player. Second concern with regard to this introduction of private player is that if private rail, private operators come, will they be sustainable in these operations? This question is there because you see, because there is very little scope, there is very little scope to increase the price of train tickets because of direct competition with budget airlines due to Udan scheme of government. You see, if you will compare the first class AC fare with you know flight ticket, you will see that the fare is almost same. In some cases, it is greater than this. So why will a passenger move from plane to this train, knowing that the train will take much more time than the plane will? So this is the case. So there is very limited scope to increase the price. Secondly, the railways has consistently lost passengers traffic to budget airlines in long distance. This is because of this fare and time, commutation time. So there is very limited room for private entities to increase fares and mobilize greater capacity. So this, because of their inability to increase the fare, there may be losses to the private operators, and this may disincentivize the private investment in future. So this is a very big concern about the sustainability of the private operators that will be operating on 109 identified routes. This is a great concern. Third concern with regard to the operations by private operator is lack of independent regulatory body. Vivek Devrai committee has also, raised this issue. Vivek Devrai committee was constituted by Indian Railways in 2014 for restructuring of Indian Railways. Okay, and it said that private, an independent regulatory body is must if you want to attract private investment. Why this is must? Because that it is possible for Indian Railway, because you see, private operators will be competing with whom? They will be competing with themselves, with other private operators, and there is a big competitor here also, Indian Railway itself. So is it possible for Indian Railway to sit in judgment in case of dispute with private firms while also being a competitor, operating trains on the same route? So this will be the case of, you cannot be a judge in your own case. So this is a very big concern also. How can Indian Railway can be a judge in its own case? So that is why there is a requirement of an independent regulatory body. Next concern with regard to this private operation is that the both private and railway trains, Indian railway trains, may lead to malpractice and corruption because they will both run on the same route. So there is chance that corruption and rent sinking may increase. Third is fifth concern is with regard to low occupancy rate. In Tejas Express, which operated on Delhi, Lucknow, and Mumbai Ahmedabad route, there was occupancy of just 67%, and you see 33% was vacant seats. This is because of high fares. People didn't want to ride on this Tejas Express train. Third is the sixth concern with regard to the private operation is that freight trains will be also running on the same track on which passenger trains will be running. And if you see the revenue of Indian Railway, you might get surprised that 67% of Indian Railway revenue generation is from, these freight trains. So further private trains on this same track without expanding the track would lead to greater competition, and that may impact the operations of freight trains, and thus that will in turn impact the revenue of Indian Railway. But this concern can be sorted out by dedicated freight corridor, which is supposed to be operational by 2021 itself. So that dedicated freight corridor may free up, enough capacity for private trains to operate. So this concern can be, shortlisted or can be addressed. Okay. So this was all about the concerns which people have about the operations of private, operators in Indian Railway. Now we will see why, despite all these concerns, government is ready to go ahead with its proposal. Let's see it. Government, according to a government estimate, you see, Indian Railway requires 50 lakh crore investments in next 12 years for modernization and bringing in more facilities to Indian Railway. Also, according to Indian Railway Board data, 5 crore intending passengers could not be accommodated during 2019-2020 for want of capacity. This reflects the demand-supply gap that is there in Indian Railway. So government clearly wants to bring in private players to bridge this demand-supply gap. The third, also according to government data, 13.3% travel demand increases during festive season and summer season. There is 13.3% increment in demand, particularly in festive and summer season. So how the government cannot, can deny passengers their right to travel just because of, unavailability of the seats. So there has to be some, mechanism through which government can address this issue. That is why government wants to bring in private players. Also, according to Economic Survey of 2013-14, you see, it championed privatization of Indian Railway. It says that both passengers and freight operations, has been shifting from Indian Railway to other modes of communication, particularly through roads. Some passengers have moved to Volvo buses and freight, trains which were supposed to carry, goods now is, carried through road transportations. So this has affected economic growth by as much as 4.5% of GDP. This is the concern of Economic Survey 2013-14. Also, it says that if you invest rupees 1 in Indian railway sector, it will have a impact of rupees 2.5 in other sectors. Okay. Also, in 2014, Indian Railway appointed Vivek Devroy expert committee on restructuring of Indian Railway, and that committee says that investment in railway is essential for success of Make in India. Vivek Devroy committee clearly states that if you want success of Make in India, you have to have investment in Indian Railway. Also, it says, this Vivek Devroy committee says that passengers are willing to pay more if guaranteed better quality of travel and ease of access. So this is these are the data and the recommendations that government believes can be relied upon. Fifth thing that government says that the private operations may bring in rupees 30,000 crore investment in Indian Railway, which is much needed, much needed. Also, this 151 trains this 151 private trains will be just 5% of total 2800 mail and express trains that is currently operating in by Indian Railway. Okay, the last position that government takes is that the Indian Railway is characterized by lengthy delays, overcrowded stations, you see, dwindling revenues. This is because of delays, overcrowded stations, and because of the shortage of revenue. Indian Railway could not keep pace with the innovations that have taken place in other modes of transportation, and that is why passengers are shifting from Indian Railway to other modes of transportation. So railway has not increased the ticket fares for more than a decade. This is because increasing price of ticket in Indian Railway is a politically sensitive issue. So no governments, want to increase fare of passenger trains particularly. So keeping in mind such a sensitive issue, Indian Railway government cannot risk increasing the fare. So it has, it has brought some alternative mechanism to, generate revenue. And this is through a backdoor tactics such as introduction of surge pricing, premier trains introduction, like Suvidha train is also a premier train, and increasing the AC class berths and seats in existing trains. So these are the mechanisms that Indian Railway has adopted in order to generate some more revenue, despite increasing the fare directly. So how long you will rely on these mechanisms to have a sustainable railway operations, because all of us know that Indian Railway is running on loss. Indian Railway just recovers only close to 40% of its operational cost. So in that scenario, private investors, private players has to be in, and either this day or in future. So why not today? So this is the whole position of the government, why government wants to go ahead, despite all these concerns in mind. So this is all we have